It costs $2.1 billion. There are only 20 of them in existence. And right now, one of them is somewhere over the Pacific Ocean, in complete darkness, at 40,000 feet, moving at nearly the speed of sound. Inside, 2 people, a space the size of a closet, and somewhere in hour 19 of a 36-hour mission.
Nominal.
Copy. Radar is clear,
hungry.
maintaining course.
This is the story nobody tells you about the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. The B-2 Spirit is by any measure the most sophisticated combat aircraft ever built. Its radar cross-section the size of a metal marble. Its range 6,000 miles without refueling. Its payload 40,000 pounds of precision weaponry, delivered to any point on the planet, in any weather, day or night, completely undetected. Since 1997, the B-2 has flown combat missions over Kosovo, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya. Every single time, undetected. Every single time, mission complete. Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri is home to all 20 aircraft. When a B-2 takes off on a long-range combat mission, it may not return for 36 hours. 36 hours. That is longer than most people stay awake in an entire week. And the 2 pilots inside that aircraft cannot
Systems check
stop,
complete.
cannot
Ready for
walk,
descent.
cannot
Confirmed.
stretch,
Monitoring
cannot
approach
leave.
vector.
Adjusting
So,
now.
the question nobody asks, but everybody should. How do they survive? Before we talk about food, let's talk about the real enemy on a 36-hour mission. It is not Iranian air defenses. It is not bad weather over the Pacific. It is the human brain. Cognitive fatigue on an ultra-long mission is not the same tiredness you feel after a long day at work. It is something far more dangerous. After 16 hours without adequate sleep, the human brain functions at the level of someone who is legally intoxicated. Let that settle in for a moment. Legally intoxicated. After 24 hours, reaction times reach dangerous levels. B-2 missions routinely exceed 30 hours. Here is what happens inside the brain during that time. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for complex decision-making, begins to shut down. Peripheral vision slows, and then come the microsleeps. Those are the moments, 2 to 3 seconds, where a pilot literally falls asleep without realizing it. At 850 kilometers an hour, 3 seconds unconscious means the aircraft has traveled over 700 meters, with nobody at the controls. 700 meters, no one flying. This is why food on a B-2 mission is not just nutrition, it is brain chemistry. Every decision about what to eat, when to eat, and how much to eat is actually a decision about neurotransmitters, glucose levels, and executive function. B-2 pilots do not pack lunch, they pack a neurological survival strategy. So, what does a stealth bomber pilot actually eat during a 36-hour mission? The answer will surprise you. There is no freeze-dried space food, no secret military supplements, no high-tech nutrition system. It is food you would recognize in any grocery store in America. But the selection follows very specific scientific principles. Principle 1. Low glycemic index. Simple carbohydrates, white bread, sugary snacks cause rapid spikes in blood sugar, followed by crashes. You know that 2 o'clock slump after a heavy lunch? Now imagine that crash while you are coordinating an aerial refueling over the Pacific Ocean. B-2 pilots avoid it completely. Whole grain bread, oats, foods with fiber, everything designed to release energy slowly, over hours, not minutes. Principle 2. Protein density. Canned tuna, pre-cooked chicken, protein bars. A pilot will consume a protein portion every 3 to 4 hours, simply to maintain stable energy levels. Principle 3, and this is where it gets honest. Minimize digestive waste. When your bathroom is a toilet the size of a bucket behind your seat, you do not want to be using it every hour. B-2 pilots follow a 24-hour low-fiber protocol before every mission. No large salads, no beans, no cruciferous vegetables, nothing that generates gas or increases intestinal activity. It is unglamorous, but it is the difference between a manageable mission and 36 hours of misery. Principle 4. Calculated hydration. Water is essential, but too much water means too many bathroom breaks. B-2 pilots drink at measured small intervals, constant small sips instead of large amounts at once. Some pilots literally calculate their milliliters per hour. Principle 5. Zero alcohol obviously, but also zero caffeine for the first 12 hours. Caffeine is reserved strategically for the fatigue crisis periods, generally between hour 18 and hour 24. when the body is fighting hardest against sleep.
Control systems nominal.
One poorly timed cup of coffee
Initiating
can
sequence.
destroy your ability to rest at the exact moment you need it most. One cup, not two, not three, one. Now let's talk about where all of this happens.
Altitude holding steady, adjusting
If you have
throttle.
ever flown economy class on a
Systems
long
green,
international
maintaining
flight,
course.
you know that feeling of being squeezed. The B-2 cockpit makes economy class feel like a luxury suite. Two seats
This
side by
turbulence
side.
is getting
That
intense.
is the
At
entire
least the
width
view
of the
is
cabin.
amazing. Everything
You
is
cannot
fine,
stand
just some
up
clouds.
straight. You cannot walk. You can crouch, you can crawl toward the area behind the seats, but walking is not an option. The ceiling is directly above your head when seated. Behind the seats, approximately 1 square meter of space. That is where everything lives. A microwave the size of a toaster, a portable cooler the size of a 6-pack of beer, and the toilet. The toilet deserves its own explanation. It is not a bathroom, it is not a restroom, it is not even a quarter bath. It is literally a toilet with a curtain. Using it requires contorting yourself into the narrow space between the seats and the equipment. Closing a thin curtain that provides virtually no acoustic privacy and conducting your business while the aircraft is potentially experiencing turbulence with your crewmate less than 2 meters away. You can hear everything. They can hear everything. This is the reality that does not appear in Air Force recruitment videos. The microwave works, but only when the aircraft is in a specific power configuration. You cannot heat food during certain maneuvers or during aerial refueling. So pilots learn quickly. If you want hot oatmeal, heat it when you have the chance, because that chance might not return for another 6 hours. Let me walk you through what a 36-hour B-2 mission actually looks like from a human survival perspective. Hours 0 to 4, takeoff. Adrenaline is high. Nobody is hungry. Pilots are drinking water, possibly chewing gum. The focus is on clean departure from U.S. airspace and establishing the initial route. The first real meal is delayed until the aircraft is in stable cruise. Hours 5 to 8. First meal, usually something substantial. A full sandwich. Oatmeal heated if the microwave is available. One pilot takes control while the other eats. Eating in a B-2 is not a social event. You chew, you swallow, you return to work. Hours 9 to 12. First aerial refueling. This is physically demanding. Flying in close formation with a tanker aircraft requires 20 to 30 minutes of total concentration. No food during this period. After refueling, protein bars, nuts, dried fruit. Hours 13 to 18. Routine. Small meals every 3 hours. Constant small sips of water. The first pilot takes a 15-minute nap. No bed. Reclined in the seat as far as possible. Cervical pillow, eye mask, earplugs. Sleeping for 15 minutes in an upright seat, traveling at 900 kilometers
This
per hour.
turbulence is getting
It is a learned
intense.
skill.
At least the view is
Hours 19
amazing.
to
Everything is
24.
fine, just some clouds.
The wall. Every long-range pilot knows this period. Your circadian rhythm is screaming that it is time to sleep. The sun may be rising outside the
Altitude
aircraft,
holding steady,
but
adjusting
your brain
throttle.
insists it is midnight.
Systems green,
Fatigue
maintaining
becomes
course.
physical. Eyes burning, back aching. This is when the caffeine arrives. 1 cup, precisely timed, enough to sharpen
Control
the edge
systems
without
nominal.
causing a crash.
Initiating
Later,
sequence.
hours 25 to 30, second and possibly third refueling. Communication between pilots becomes shorter, more functional. Nobody has the energy for conversation. Fatigue is deeply embedded. Now hours 31 to 36, the final push. If there is a weapons delivery phase, it usually happens here. The adrenaline of mission execution provides temporary focus. After weapons release, the long sail home begins. The last meal is light. Nobody wants a full stomach for landing. More water, and then finally the runway appears below. Landing does not mean recovery. B-2 pilots experience physical effects that last for days after ultra-long missions. Severe dehydration. The cabin air at altitude is extremely dry. Pilots lose up to 3 kilograms of water weight during a single mission. It takes 48 hours to fully rehydrate. Digestive disruption. Eating at irregular intervals, processed foods, physical stress. It all compounds. Digestive systems rebel against 36 hours of disrupted routine. Circadian disorientation. Pilots report taking a full week to readjust sleep patterns after a single 36-hour mission. Muscle pain. 36 hours of sitting creates serious problems. Lower back, neck, shoulders, and the psychological impact. 36 hours in a confined space with one other person does something to the human mind. Pilots who are close friends on the ground report barely speaking to each other by the end of long missions. It is not tension. It is not conflict. It is conservation of mental energy. Your brain has a finite capacity, and speaking requires capacity you need to fly the aircraft. The Air Force is not blind to these challenges. Ongoing research is developing new nutritional protocols, improved hydration formulations, meal timing systems synchronized with predicted circadian rhythms. Cabin redesigns for future aircraft include seats with greater reclining range, better sound insulation for more effective naps, and slightly larger rest spaces. Some studies are exploring advanced pharmacological options, compounds that combat fatigue without the side effects of traditional stimulants, all under strict medical supervision. Close the gap between what the aircraft can do and what the humans inside it can sustain. The B-2 can technically remain airborne for 60 hours. The humans inside it cannot. That gap is the next frontier. Here is the fundamental truth that no technology can change. The B-2 spirit requires human judgment. Automation handles much of the routine, but critical combat decisions, responses to unforeseen emergencies, real-time adaptation to mission changes, that requires humans. And those humans need to eat, they need to sleep, they need to use a toilet the size of a bucket. No matter how advanced the technology becomes, biology remains constant. The answer to surviving 36 hours in a $2 billion aircraft is not one thing. It is 100 small things. The right sandwich, the right sip of water at the right moment, the 15-minute nap timed with precision, the discipline to not drink that second cup of coffee. B-2 pilots are not superhumans. They are ordinary people who have learned to manage their biology with extraordinary precision. They have turned eating, drinking, and sleeping into tactical sciences. The next time you see a B-2 spirit at an air show, on the news, in a photograph, remember this. Inside that elegant futuristic shape, two people are managing hunger, thirst, exhaustion, and the most demanding flying environment on Earth simultaneously. The most advanced bomber ever built depends on turkey sandwiches, protein bars, and the human will to stay awake for just one more hour. That is the beautiful paradox of modern military technology. We can build machines that challenge the imagination, but the people inside them still need to pack their lunch. Reporting on the human side of America's most extraordinary machines. Mission is ready. Acknowledged. Looks good.
सब्सक्राइब मेरी चैनल को करो।